I hate to break the fishing news after Chuck, but I'd like to speak about the ice hockey.
Congratulations. You're one of the 13 listeners of the Real Life Podcast.
We just traded a migraine in for like an orgasm.
Might want to mark that down.
Yep. All of my projects are on schedule until they're not.
A member of the Nation Network of Podcasts.
About as funny as we're going to get today.
Episode 274 of the Real Life Podcast, brought to you by Oodle Noodle. Proceeds from all in-store curbside pickup orders go towards local charities. So not only is Oodle Noodle good for your hunger, it is good for the community around you as well. I'm Tyler Yaremchuk. Chalmers J. Bagged Milk is here as well. And we got an Oilers win we can jump into right off the bat, actually. I forgot to start my stopwatch, so I'll do that now. But Chalmers, you said something while we were doing like our pre-show chatter that I found interesting. You said we're going to be very lucky to get a 7-game series between those two teams, Oilers and Jets, that is.
Yeah, I just think after watching that game and how it was back and forth and just high tempo, it just felt a little different. I have to be quite honest. We went golfing and we recorded the game, so we watched it at a quite a high pace. And I don't know if that added to it or anything, but
they would go much faster at 1.5 times speed.
Yeah, they go. Yeah. But just how it was so back and forth. Every time I looked up from my drink, there was an odd man rush going the other way, and it looked like it was exciting hockey. And so what I was saying was, I know that some people on this podcast are scared to see an Edmonton Winnipeg series after that game. Well, I thought JR didn't want to see it.
Well, I'm
not the biggest fan
about Winnipeg. Yeah, I'm more. Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Well, did that game change anything for you? Because yes. just to see such a high impact game like that, and to know that like 7 straight games of that would be awesome in my opinion. And then to come out with a win like that and basically look like we dominated start to finish. Does that not change your thoughts, your views on that?
We've matched up well against them. It's been very good to see. So yeah, no, it definitely gives you more confidence for sure. But playoffs is a different beast. So people are going to elevate and look a little bit different in the playoffs than they do in the regular season. But definitely, yeah, you can't not take that as a positive.
So I wrote the GDB on Saturday, and it was funny to read it the next day after the game was over because I was really nervous about that game. I thought that the week off was obviously great. They were rested, and this time they were at home and on the road. But I was scared that they were going to either have a slow start a little bit while they try to get their legs under them, or just not look very crisp. And that wasn't the case at all. It's like a nap did the boys some good.
We talked about how like being, off for the week, but at home and not like stuck in a hotel in Montreal like last time would probably help them. And they got through the first period by surviving. Like it was 0-0 after 20, but they're now, I think, 5-2 against the Winnipeg Jets. And something else you talked about before the pod here, they kind of have Connor Hellebuck's number as well. And I don't think that's something that will necessarily just like, oh, it's playoff Hellebuck and he's lights out again. Like if you have a hard time stopping McDavid or Draisaitl now, you're probably going to have a hard time stopping them in game 1, game 2, game 3, game 4 of the playoffs.
Well, it's funny that you said that, right? Because in the first period, obviously scoreless. And then Hellebuck was the only reason that was the case, though. The Oilers were by far and away the better team, but Hellebuck kept them close. And I was just like, fuck, this better not be one of those nights where the goaltender keeps a game closer than it should be, and then it ends up flipping or not. I had all these concerns that just disappeared very, very quickly because in the back half of the game, Hellebuck just was not what you would expect from him. But that's been all year against the Oilers.
It's the mental warfare of knowing Connor McDavid is on the opposing team that's in his head. He's in his head.
Absolutely, 100%.
I think that could be a part of it. Like, I just think the Jets are having for whatever reason, a tough time slowing those two guys down, even though like, not that the Leafs haven't, have stopped Connor McDavid by any means, but he's a tick over a point a game against the Toronto Maple Leafs. He is getting completely shut down by the Habs, but this third playoff team, the Jets, they cannot stop McDavid and Draisaitl. It's great to see also that Puljujarvi goal. Hello.
Well, that cycle that those three ran down low, the Jets couldn't do anything about it. They were just turning the puck over and over and over, and all three of them were involved. And then Connor's no-look pass right to Jesse's stick in the slot. It was perfect. Not to mention, the goal itself was beautiful, but I will never, ever get tired of a Puljujarvi goal celebration. He looks like he just discovered fire every time he scores, and I love it.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, it's so good to see. Like, well, the other thing you gotta give props to Jesse, because look, like he was just moving around like crazy. Like he created his space, found his spot, and McDavid, being, the guy with 38 eyes on his head, could see him and make that like essentially no look, 1 in 1,000 to a normal hockey player pass out front to just a wide open Puljujarvi, and he buried. I also want to highlight the fact that anytime I see Puljujarvi in public, he scores that night.
Yeah, I saw that.
Just go park yourself outside his house. Do we know where he lives?
Yeah, I actually do now know where he lives, and that's where I saw him. He was on his stoop playing with Jaffa. I'm like, man, he looks happy. I didn't bet on the goal. I was scared. I bet on the point because it was plus 135, but I hammered the point.
So you were just like walking through insert neighborhood here, and you looked and you're like, driving. Oh, that's Puljujarvi playing with his puppy.
Driving, and it's like a busy road. I'm like, do all these cars not know that that's Puljujarvi right there playing with Jaffa?
That's great.
Anyway, yeah, he's so happy.
What do you think about the bit?
I also want everyone to know.
Players?
Well, sorry, I got to let everyone else know that Hot Dog, I was not present. It was my girlfriend. Hot Dog met Connor McDavid on Friday.
Oh, wow.
Met Leonard on Friday.
Leonard.
Kyle on Friday. Connor McDavid knows what Hot Dog looks like. Laughed when he heard it was his name. There is a connection there. So that's why I also bet. Hot Dog's putting the work in this season. His network is insane. Like that dog is going to make me cool someday.
You're going to start getting invited to Oilers parties. And then you're like,
dog parties, dog-friendly parties. They all want Hot Dog. Jaffa loves Hot Dog. Connor McDavid thinks Hot Dog's a funny-looking dog and named. So like this is good. Life's good.
We need to get Frank in the mix too. He is also a lovable character.
Well, hey, let's have a socially distanced dog park visit.
Yes, I think we should
bring our dogs, go for a walk.
Don't say what dog park it is either. Or people are going to start flocking there.
Oh, there's some people that know, because I see on Twitter when there's some viewings there. But I've seen now Cahoon. There's been McDavid sighting. I wasn't there for that one. Actually, I saw him leaving the dog park once, and then there was Puljujarvi.
My problem with the non-fence dog parks, though, is Frank will not come back. He'll see a squirrel or something, and he is gone. And he's like, he'll show up like a day later with a dead squirrel in his mouth and be like, hey, where'd everybody go? I brought you a present. So
we'll put him.
He's got one of those long retractables.
Yeah, that's fine.
The dude burns, though. He burns. It's not enough rope for him,
Yeah, he's fast.
So in that game on Saturday, what did you guys think of like the secondary players on the team? Did you feel like they had a little bit more of an impact? Because just the stat sheet says they did. And I think guys like Archibald and like Yamo and Chason obviously scored,
I want to start with, if we're talking about it, I want to start with the Haas, Cahoon, Yamamoto line, which in the first period was just ripping it up. It was pretty much unlucky that Yamamoto didn't have a goal. He had 2 clear breaks in a matter of 5-6 minutes. It's just that trio played really well. Really well.
Gaetan Haas, man. Gaetan Haas. Just give him the opportunity. He will see it. He will see it.
We just need that to be more consistent, in my opinion.
100%.
Yes.
I
still think you can get a better option on that line than Cahoon. No offense to Cahoon. I think if you could get an upgrade there, then great.
And you know what? They might have recalled the better option, because Ryan McLeod's on his way up to the big team here to start his quarantine. And Gregor kind of said he thinks McLeod will start as a center. I think if Nuge and McLeod are both healthy, I think you could almost play them on that second line with Yamamoto, and McLeod could be a really good left winger, or Nuge could be his left winger.
Isn't that exciting? Isn't that a trade line acquisition and a half?
Well, there's no guarantee he's a top 6 guy, but it's an interesting experiment to have down the stretch.
He's having a great year at Bakersfield.
Great year. Yeah, no, like that's exciting. It's for me, it's like so foreign given this season for us to call up a guy from Bakersfield.
More importantly, this is just for the nerds on the podcast, specifically Jay and I. When you Google Ryan McLeod, a certain website is first up on the news of his recall.
Oh, well, that's my pornography right there.
Yep.
Anytime that can come up, that's great.
I love it.
Well done, Bag Milk. Well done.
But to what I was actually Googling before I saw that excellent news, hell of a year for him down in Bakersfield. 14 goals, 14 assists. So 28 points, 28 games. Why not?
And a lot of the times when you hear like a young, skilled player coming up from the minors, or at least my brain always jumps to like, okay, are they strong enough physically? Are they good enough defensively? Like the offense won't be an issue, but can they do those other things? And one, he's 6'3", over 200 pounds, and he skates like the wind. So he's already got that going for him.
Yeah.
And I heard
that
a
gets me
chat.
excited.
Ryan Holt was on the lowdown today. He's the play-by-play voice of the Condors. And he said Jay Woodcroft calls him the motor of that Condors top line, which is the best line in the AHL this year. He calls it the motor of the top line, and that McLeod is sort of the defensive conscience on that line as well. So this seems like a guy who's coming up who might be like a pretty complete player off the bat. And I don't want to set the bar too high because he's only 21 years old, but I'm a little bit excited about what this move could do for their forward group.
Does he play as an edge?
I haven't watched enough of him to know that.
On the flip side, I do get nervous that it means Nuge is hurt worse than we think.
But then Dave Tippett said today that if Nuge's skate goes well today with the taxi squad, he's going to practice fully tomorrow. So Nuge could be back on Wednesday.
All right.
So, when is the first time we're going to get to see Kulikov? When's his first insertion into the lineup?
Well,
the trade deadline was on the 12th. So
there was talk that he was having visa issues, right? But let's just say, even if he got to Edmonton on Tuesday, the 13th, that means his 7-day quarantine is up tomorrow. But there's no way you're playing him against Montreal on Wednesday, right? Because you want him to skate and like get used to the systems and get his legs back. He wouldn't have skated in a week, right? So I would say next Monday against Winnipeg, you'll likely see Kulikov. And next Wednesday against Winnipeg, you'll likely see McLeod.
Interesting.
I think Kulikov could, I've been watching and reading a lot about him. I think that's actually a sneaky good pickup by Ken Holland. That could make a huge difference. If he can come in and settle, say he plays with Bear and he just really settles, Ethan Bear is allowed to do a little bit more wandering, moving the puck, then I think that would be, for a conditional fourth, how can you hate it? And
I think also like Kulikov's been playing on a pairing with PK Subban, so he knows what it's like to be with a defenseman who can be a little bit frantic at times. And you're right. I think Ethan Bear right now, when he's playing with Caleb Jones, is kind of forced to be that defensive conscience on that pairing. But with Kulikov there, maybe he can just sort of breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice to have options. The Oilers have a fuck ton of defensemen. That's all I know.
So many D, and Cuckoo's back right away, right? Like we are depth at D all day now. If we can just fix our middle six, we'll be poised to at least make some noise here.
Can I talk about how fun it is for me to watch the chaos that surrounds Tyson Barrie right now? No matter what he does,
good or bad,
no matter what he does, there is just a segment of fans that are just on it. And it's just, if you observe the scenario as a whole, I find it endlessly entertaining.
Well, it's just, so there are some fans who are detractors of Barrie's. And there are some fans who think he is the second coming of Chris Pronger for this blue line. Like I keep hearing the whole, like, he's the defenseman we've been waiting a decade for. And it's like, well, okay, Ethan Bear actually might be the defenseman we've been waiting a decade for because that's homegrown talent right there. But then Barrie picks up a point. And like the detractors don't even say anything, but his like hardcore supporters are like jumping down the throat of everyone being like, oh, fuck you. Yeah, you're going to say that point doesn't count, are you? And it's like, oh my God, everyone is so mad about Tyson Barrie.
I thought it Saturday was especially funny because personally, I wrote it in the wrap up. I thought that he had a tough defensive start to the game. I thought he was a little bit of a yard sale in his own end, but then in the back half, he scores a goal in the power play. And then he does another one he gets an assist on Jason's goal. And all of a sudden the people that are really upset at Barrie just had to really quiet down. Meanwhile, Josh Park is having the time of his life. Probably the president and CEO of the fan club at this point.
He loves Tyson Barrie.
Loves Barrie. Well, Barrie's not going to be the best defensive defenseman, and he's got offensive upside, and it's shining. But like, it is amazing how polarizing the Barrie subject is.
When and why did the Barrie hate even start?
So it basically starts because Evan Bouchard's sitting around doing jack shit, right? He's just twiddling his thumbs.
Yes.
And people for next season are saying you don't bring back Barrie because you have a good young right shot offensive D-man in Bouchard, and you use him. You don't overpay for Barrie. You go to the young guy who's cheaper. And now there's basically people who are like, if they don't re-sign Barrie, Ken Holland should be fired. And then there's other people who say, if they re-sign Barrie, Ken Holland should be fired. And that's where the issue's coming from, is there's just some people on like either insane extreme of this Barrie thing, and it started like a little war.
It's the best. I love it. It's fucking Oilers fans. If there's one thing that we do best, it is when a new guy or any guy needs a new contract, man, we will tear him down at every corner, and I'm guilty of it too, support that person no matter what. It's the best.
That's what's happening with Nuge right now.
It is.
Well, but I'm also willing to say, look, the guy needs to play better. There's no way around it. On Oilers Nation Radio, Tyler asked the question on Friday, which player needs to pick it up before the playoffs and who will make the biggest impact? And for me, the answer is easy. Nuge. If he gets going and shooting and scoring like he can, that is an immediate difference for this hockey club. But right now, he's just not playing at that level. But I still think he should be re-signed. You know, is it going to be a little bit cheaper?
Yeah,
I hope so. But I still think he should be re-signed. The Barrie one is interesting though, because with Nuge, he's been around for 1,000 years. This is a Barrie. He did a bet on himself contract in Edmonton. He signed for less money. Has been well reported. And now he's ripping it up. And then out comes the talk of secondary assists. Out comes the talk of power play points. It's the best. It reminds me of when Hemsky signed his last 2-year deal with the Edmonton for $5 million per year. Just the back and forth both ways until it finally got done was endlessly entertaining. And this is too.
Well, the fear they're living under is that they think that Ken Holland's going to sign a 7-year deal at $8 million per. And like, everyone doesn't want that to happen. And that's what's fueling like, oh, well, like his points actually aren't that, meaningful and blah, 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 trying to like poke holes on that. And then there's the camp that love him, but the camp that loves him also want him to sign a team friendly deal.
Yeah.
So like, that's the reality. Tyson Barrie only works if he signs a team friendly deal because he wants to stay here and try to win. That's how that'll calm down everyone. Because he also signed the 1-year ticket. So they feel like he's just coming here to farm points so he can sign a big ticket elsewhere. And that also pisses off people. So like if he comes, puts up the season that he has, re-signs for a fair deal, then I think everyone will be fine with it.
Nope. There will be people that if he signs for 4 years, $4 million a season, there will be people fucking mad on Twitter. I could.
That's good value.
If I was in the business of calling people out, I'd list off their fucking handles, bro, because I know exactly the type of people who would get mad about that kind of thing. But you can absolutely bring him back. It just means you got to change up some other things on your blue line. And I don't know. Yeah, I just think sometimes people get too bent out of shape about things like that. And at the same time, like I'm of the mindset that, like I go on these podcasts on the radio, talk about it, dissect it. But the fan part of me just goes, I'm going to enjoy having Tyson Barrie on this blue line for the rest of the season. Because the whole point of this deal, like you said, Jay, was to sign here for cheap, get a fuckload of points playing with the big guns on the power play, and leave in the offseason because Clefbaum's coming back. Like that was the plan here.
That's a good situation. Yeah, that's a good situation. Like, I guess we have to also remember, like, this is all happening and we're all getting so triggered and upset. And I shouldn't say we all, but we're winning hockey games.
Yeah. Like
we're
they're in
winning
a
hockey
playoff
games.
spot.
That ultimately that is beginning and end of story of what we should really be caring about right now is how happy Puljujärvi is and the season that we're having in the standings.
It is the best. It's Oilers fans will be celebrating a Stanley Cup victory, and there will be somebody at the pint that night say, "Yeah, but they won't win next year."
Well, you know what, man?
They're lucky that this team got eliminated.
There's a lot of trauma in this fan base, man. The decade of darkness was heavy duty shit. Like it's heavy duty shit. So, you know, we have to pull ourselves up and be like, you know what? This is all driven for passion and the fact that we love our team and we're just showing our love in different ways. And that some of it's by shitting on Tyson Barrie and some of it's by praising Tyson Barrie.
I can't even get involved in this conversation for one reason. And that is because I so spend all my time not getting involved in conversations where we talk about what I consider to be our best defenseman and even arguing why he shouldn't be on our team. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous to me. I don't care. I don't need to delve into which right shot, which fucking side. Evan Bouchard is not playing because Tyson Barrie's in the goddamn lineup. Okay. If we want Evan Bouchard so bad, and the whole reason that you don't like Tyson Barrie is because Evan Bouchard's not playing right now, then maybe we should start getting pissed off about the bottom three defensemen that he could actually slot in for, who aren't maybe playing as well as Tyson Barrie. The guy is so. You say that wasn't great in our end. I gotta be honest. Like I don't really see any times when he's not that great in our end. I haven't really noticed it. No, and maybe I have rose-colored glasses on because I know that on that power play, he's going to get big shots. He's offensive. Why do we take our best defenseman right now and even try to tear him down at all? Like,
let me add a qualifier.
Go ahead.
I don't expect Tyson Barrie to be great in his own end. I expect him to put up points. That's what I expect from Tyson Barrie. I just find that when he's playing with Darnell Nurse on the top pairing, sometimes he's a yard sale back there. And that's exactly what I expect from him. Yep. My ideal scenario would be to have Tyson Barrie, but maybe just at evens, he'd be playing a little bit lower. Yep. And then he goes and does his thing on the power play.
Feels like to me,
I don't think saying that he's a little bit of a yard sale in his own end is me saying I don't want Tyson Barrie. Of course I do. I've written on The Nation countless times over the years about how the Oilers should try to get Tyson Barrie out of Colorado. Yeah. So, you know, it's if you followed him for a long time, he's doing exactly what we hoped he would. Really.
He just isn't great at both ends. But you know what is great at both ends? Nutsack underwear from Twig and Berries.
Nice.
On the front and the
package,
back.
Comfy on your rear end. And I know, Chalmers, we wanted to keep talking Barrie, but I need to give some love to.
I don't actually.
I need to give some love to Twig and Berries. Twice a week, I do this ad read and I say free shipping in Canada on orders over $100. But if you go to their new website right now, twigandberries.ca, it looks fresh. You'll see a red banner that floats across your screen. Free shipping in Canada on orders over $75. You only need to spend $75 and they will ship it to you for free anywhere in Canada, whether it's the Nutsack underwear, whether it's some of their new arrivals, like their out of office hoodie. All this stuff is good quality. Support local. twigandberries.ca promo code Nation15 gets you 15% off as well.
The only Barrie we're not divided on, the Twig and Barrie.
Yeah, that's
and I also want to give Twig and Barrie some love. They hooked me up with a hoodie. That thing is legit awesome.
Yeah, it's wicked, eh?
It is great. It's a nice.
I got some here for you. I've been meaning to deliver it to you, but I keep forgetting.
Do I have any?
Oh, nice.
I don't know. Do you?
I don't know. I wasn't told. It feels like everyone else on the podcast is getting a freaking hoodie but me.
Yeah, I got it this weekend.
I'll let you know how it feels.
They like Chalmers as an influencer. Okay, that's all I can say.
Fair enough.
I'll wear it out. Don't worry, Twig and Barrie. I'll be repping your set hard.
Oh, it's Chalmers. You're gonna love it. It's a nice, thick, comfortable, everyday hoodie.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my favorite kinds.
Everyday hoodie for the everyday man, Twig and Berries.
For the everyday man.
I'm bringing it home today, Chalmers. Don't be afraid to come bike by one day.
All right.
I got out, had my first round of the year yesterday, and there was first full 18. I did 9 twice last week, but on Sunday I braved the conditions and went out and shot 18. It was pretty chilly, but
18,
I think
you got a hole in one every hole.
You played 18. If you're going to talk golf with the golfers, get your lingo right.
What did I say?
You said I shot 18.
I shot 18.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever. That's
only person in history to record an 18. I think
you played
Kim
18,
Jong-il.
which is except for Kim Jong-un. I heard he did it once.
Yeah. Hell of a drive on that guy.
Okay. Anyways, I played 18. There is nothing I love more than getting
iron covers.
No, not iron covers.
Graphite shaft irons.
Graphite shaft. Do I have iron covers? No.
He's got a ball retriever too in his bag.
Yeah, right. We're going to teach people who go to their local munis how not to look like a tool. Basically,
we're going to shoot a golf video. We are. We'll go us three and Josh Park or Bag Milk. If you golf, we'll do a 5-some. Come along. And
I don't golf, but I love to golf.
All right, perfect. We'll come drink with us.
You'll just enjoy me shanking balls off into the woods and fucking scurrying in there and be like, I don't really want to look for it. So I'll pull out a fresh one.
So your Remchuk at +6. How were the hands?
They were chilly, but the nice part was like
you're glove guy.
No. It was +6, but when the sun would come out, it would actually feel like it was almost like 12 or 13, like when that sun was on you. So the sun would come for 10 minutes, you'd warm up, you'd be cold for 20, sun would come for 10, you warm up. Like it honestly wasn't that bad. I had a couple beers because I went with my girlfriend and she'll often drive home because I'm that kind of guy.
Awesome for you.
But the one thing I forgot that I just dread is when you drink on the golf course and then you stop drinking after and you're hungover at like 5 o'clock. And like, oh God. And you like can't go to bed because it's 5 o'clock and you do not want to start drinking all over again. So you're just like in this awful haze for the final few hours of your night. I couldn't sleep last night. It was awful. But
it takes a lot of planning. It takes a lot of planning. So you had your last beer on the course and then you just got in the car, went home. And by this time it had been 45 to an hour and you were kind of in that, I'm not worth pouring another one right now.
Well,
but I'm starting to feel a little shitty.
So I came home and I had the Jays game PVR'd. So I crushed the Jays game, was taking notes because I had to do Blue Jays Nation radio last night with Cam Lewis. So I sobered up to do the podcast really. And then by the time the podcast was done, I was just like tired and like, oh man, I don't think I could taste another beer right now. And like, it was whatever, like I said, 5, 6 o'clock. I didn't want to go to bed. It was not a great feeling.
I'd switch. I'm making myself a nice little Caesar in that instance, you know?
I don't drink Caesars.
Just embrace it and go to bed.
Or just embrace and go to bed at 5:30.
Wake up at 4 in the morning and have a real productive Monday.
Yeah. I agree with that.
That's fair. But yeah, I tried to stay up. I played cards and all that with my girlfriend. And then like when I actually went to go to bed at like 10 o'clock, which is still early, I was like, I can't fall asleep because I've like now overcome the hangover and I'm wide awake. It was a huge issue. Anyways, major first world problems, but that was my first round of the year recapped.
Well, Chalmers and I played our first round together on Saturday. It was beautiful out. Nice.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Did I say we shot 18?
No, I did.
No.
I shot a 17
because I know how to talk like a golfer. I knew I would slip up like that. And what a beautiful day. And I'll tell you one thing, I am still feeling the fun we had on that golf course.
Yeah, we are. It really does take a lot of planning to be able to drink on a golf course properly. If you're going to, especially on a Saturday at, what did we start at 2:15? I think we ended up starting at, we were a little delayed. But at 2:15, you have a beer going into it and with no beer cart out and around, you really have to get the drinks that you need for 2 hours. And if you're having cocktails like myself, then you have to make sure your ice game is strong. Because the worst thing for your golf game is to need a drink, want to drink, and not have one, and have like 45 minutes until you get it because you never get it back, right? Yeah. So it takes a lot it takes a lot of work, a lot of planning, extra drinks at the turn. Always buy. Here's my word of advice. Always buy 2 more than you think you need.
What?
Always buy 2 more than you think. Hey, listen, I'd rather need one and have one and not need it than need one and not have it. My motto to live by, especially on the golf course, because I know how badly you can play when you need a drink. I showed it actually on one hole.
Yeah, you did. Chalmers was off to a hot start. And
I was off to a start for the ages. 1 under after 4.
Wow.
And well, it got marginally worse. Let's put it that way as the drinks kept going. And then you drink a little faster because you're like, look, I need to get that energy back, get that game back in, and slippery slopes, boys, slippery slopes. But man, there is no more fun in this world than playing golf with your friends with a little bit of money on the line on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. It was fucking heaven on earth, man. And then
it was so good.
And then we parlayed that into we social distance and we went to a friend's house who has an outdoor TV. And we watched the game. We watched the game. Did everything legit. Sat around this thing. I mean, the fact is we had golf today all day. We're together, right? Golf's a pretty easy social distance sport. But it was. I want to ask you guys
a question that Tyler asked us on ON Radio, and the answers were split.
Yeah.
5 p.m. start or 8 p.m. start, which is the ideal?
On a Saturday?
I'm bred for 8 p.m. starts on a Saturday, man. We usually dinner and if this is just a normal day, usually we're making dinner and we're doing stuff around the house. We're just, kind of having the tail end of our Saturday while the first game's on. And then when the second game's about to start, we're done dinner. Kids are showered in their pajamas. We've poured a cocktail and we're ready for that game. You know what I mean? There was something to be said for the 5 o'clock game where we were able to fast forward through the commercials and through the, a lot of the intermissions and really get that game done kind of at the same time as we would have anyways. You know what I mean? I don't know, but I definitely, if it's just a normal Saturday and I'm watching it live, I think 8 p.m. is way better than 5.
For Saturday games only. Every other day of the week.
For Saturday games only, yeah.
Yeah. 8 p.m. is good, especially when you can go back and attend a game for that exact same reason. You can have a full day, whatever it is, if it's housework, errands, whatever, be wrapped up by 4 or 5, shower, get ready, head out to a restaurant, especially if you're going to the game, take your time, then go to the game. It allows you to have a whole event and not kind of feel the pressure of time. Because it can feel rushed, but only on Saturdays, 8 p.m.
Tyler and I both said 5 p.m. And
every
my
day
favorite
of the fucking week, baby.
My favorite thing was that the game was over early, and then Tyler and I started texting the ONR group text about all the different activities we were doing with the rest of our time. Whereas our boy Rick from the Pint was very unhappy that we were enjoying.
I bet he was
the early start.
So the game ends at 7:30, and it wasn't exactly nice out. So I poured myself another drink, played a couple different card games with my girlfriend. Keep in mind, I'm basically my life is the equivalent of a 70-year-old's. So I'd eaten dinner before puck drop.
Shocker.
Yeah, I had a couple more drinks, played a couple games of crib, and then it was 8:30, and I was looked at my girlfriend. I said, probably pretty much time for bed. Hey,
yeah, let's pour a glass of prune juice and down the hatch, go to bed.
I got a question for you, Chuck. It's a crib related question.
Yep.
In crib, 2-man crib, do you consider that game to be, if you had to allocate a percentage to each, equaling up to 100, what would you say is the percentage of skill and the percentage of luck in a 2-man game of crib?
That answer, or is it 2 players with similar skill level? Because
I'm going to say they're the exact same player.
They're the exact same player, game of crib. What is it, skill to luck? If they're the exact same skill level, it should be 50-50.
Okay. So, But no, that's not true because
skill, but if they're the same skill level, Chalmers, then they're going to play the same. They're going to play the same.
They should know what are the smart moves and aren't. So
but there's also luck of the cards though.
There's luck of the card. Listen, there's 2 different people. You're not getting the same hand every time. So even though you know the game in and out, when you get 6 cards, what's the best 4 to keep and what the potential for a crib flop is. The fact is you have to make that decision, number 1, and the cards are always going to be different. So the luck of the draw in those cards and the luck of the flop of the cut is super important to the game. I believe that at that point when it's 75% luck and 25% skill, because we can both do the exact right thing. And sometimes that flop's going to change the
Chalmers. I think when you're playing one person, skill has more of a factor than it would if you're playing a 4-person game.
Yeah,
because when there's more variables like that, there's less control or less traps you can set up in pegging or anything like that. So I feel like if do you think there's more skill with 4 people versus 2?
I would say there's more luck.
I think there's more luck. I think, okay, so you got 2 people, and let's say I'm constantly getting even cards. I'm constantly getting 6, 8, 10, and 10 and a 2. And the other person's constantly getting bridge cards, tons of bridge cards, lots of runs, lots of this. It doesn't matter at that moment that we are the exact same skill level and that we can count out these points as fast and we can make the right decision every time.
There's always luck of the draw.
Is playing. Yeah. So I'm asking you the percentage
I would say, honestly, I would say this. I would say in a game, a heads up game, mano a mano, I would say probably a 55 to 60% edge on skill, and then the rest is luck. There's got to be some advantage to skill.
Mm-hmm. There always will be, but so Chalmers, how often do you play crib in a week?
A lot in a week.
Yeah.
Oh, back when we got together with friends and shit.
Yeah.
It would be every single time we got together with them.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah,
okay. So we would both be more experienced crib players then. Cause even still right now.
I know all the rules how to play crib. I can play crib with any of you guys right now, but I don't remember the last time I played.
So I would say between yourself, if you were to take on me or Chalmers heads up, I would say it's dead on 50% skill, 50% luck. He could very well beat us in any given game, but we would bend things a little bit more in our favor. We would have that skill advantage.
I believe that there's only one aspect of crib where skill absolutely takes over, and that is in pegging and playing your hands, because you can always like more strategic people that set other people up for knowing what and just guessing what people might have as opposed to kind of thing like that. That I believe is the real skillful part of the game.
And knowing what to throw out.
Yeah, knowing what to throw out. My case also, I'm not good at math. So you can see the fucking smoke coming out of my ears when I'm playing crib because I'm trying to figure it out. And as you're talking about pegging, Chalmers, I'll put something down because my brain hasn't computed the math enough, and you'll dunk on me every time. That's my problem when I play crib.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is definitely a very skillful. There's no luck in pegging. Like, sure, it could be lucky if I have all tens.
Of course there's luck in pegging.
There is luck to an extent.
I mean, there's a little bit of it.
There's some luck, but there's a little bit of skill. But there is skill. Yes.
I just know that, like, I can play somebody who's not very good at crib, and you just know it. And in a full game, the luck, it doesn't matter. You could throw our skill levels out, and if the luck is just on their side for most hands, I won't win, and you just won't win. And that is kind of like a frustrating thing. That's like saying, like blackjack, skill or luck, right? I believe there's a lot of skill in blackjack, but I also believe there could be just as much luck in it, right?
You can get totally fucked over by luck in both of those games. But the idea being that if you have some amount of skill, you should come out ahead. Like in crib, if me and you were to go head to head, but you have a little bit more skill than me, you should beat me in a best of 7 series more often than not. And it's sort of the same, I think, with blackjack, where like, if you really, really know what you're doing and you're sharp and you're playing, like, the odds should be as close to 50-50 as they probably are statistically, right? If you always make the right decisions.
Have you ever listened to or read anything about when they were trying to decide whether or not daily fantasy was skill or luck?
I remember that being a big story.
And how they proved that it was. I don't totally remember the story, but it was really quite interesting. I wish that I could recall it, but it's reminding me of that time when like really smart analytical and economical, like economics majors were basically delving into whether or not fantasy was skill and luck. And it was amazing. Like, I thought it was crazy.
You want to know about some luck?
Yeah.
I'll tell you about some luck. Last night, Leafs played the Canucks, right?
Yeah.
I was expecting a very different game than what played out. I was expecting the Leafs to run the show. So this is where luck comes in. Your boy Bag Milk made a heavy bet on first period result. The Leafs won the first period. It was plus 115 or something like that when I put the bet down, something like that. And I cashed in on it only to watch the game slowly swing the other way until Bo Horvat eventually ended it in the overtime. That, I would say, is luck.
You nailed the first period, but did you touch the rest of the game or you just avoided
it? Did not
it?
touch anything else.
Beautiful. You're beautiful.
That was
man.
the only bet I put. That was a monstrous one on first period result.
I'll tell you an instance of skill. On Saturday, I knew the Oilers boys were going to win.
Of course.
I also knew the Condors were going to win. So I went an all-in Oilers boys parlay. Paid plus 350.
Nice.
Ooh, nice win.
That's knowing a thing.
I was going to bring that up when we were talking about the Condors and said, I found out on Saturday that Jay has a serious problem because he's betting on the Condors to win.
Parlayed with the Oilers, man.
That's wrong with that.
That's believing in the system. Like that's betting on the Oilers deep. That's how you do it.
The sportsbook I use does a little thing where they, if you bet $25 on college basketball or college sports, I should say, they will, just for placing a $25 bet, they will give you a risk-free $25 bet the next week. So it's kind of like a free bet in a way. So I've been going for a while now and just doing $25 on like the 3 biggest favorites I can get, or is how many favorites I need to get it to even money. I'm like 5-0. I like can't lose on it. And then I get the free money on top of it. It's fantastic. The also betting thing, I would quickly want to say this. I've been introduced to picking players not to score parlays, and they are a ton of fun. So like you go to player goals, and let's go like Columbus, Florida tonight. Like, is Mikhail Grigorenko going to score a goal tonight? Not a fucking chance. The dude is trash. It's minus 900, but you throw him into the parlay because he sucks ass. Then you go to Carolina, Tampa Bay. Who's not going to score tonight? I guarantee you Jesper Fast isn't scoring in this game. Bang, throw him in the parlay. And you just go through every game and pick like the worst player there. And
you can parlay goal scores?
Yeah. But you got to go different games, right? So like wings and stars. Vladimir Valtteri Filppula. That dude ain't scoring tonight. Bang.
Let's do one right now.
I am literally reading them off. I got Grigorenko, Jesper Fast, Val Filppula.
I love this.
What does it pay?
How many are we trying to get at? Yeah, how many we have to get at so that it starts to become even money?
You usually need to do 4 or 5, depending on where you value it at, where you pick the players. Who do we got here?
That's so funny.
Nashville,
although this
Chicago,
goes against my betting mojo, though.
Which is what?
What is what?
I would rather bet on goals than against goals. I would rather shoot for the over.
I would never do it. I never do it for the Oilers.
No.
All right.
I would never bet on an Oilers player to not score.
Well, as long as we're setting some guidelines here that I can feel comfortable with.
Here we go. Kalle Järnkrok. This dude has not scored in like 11 games. Put him in the parlay. Where is he? There you go. We're already down. We got 4 of them in there. We're at minus 149. Got to go one more game. Sens in Flames. I'm going to go.
Stützle
actually has like good odds. Yeah, sure.
I don't.
Yeah, chase the juice.
But he's a skilled player. I don't like that. I don't want to. I'm betting on guys who are not skilled hockey players.
How about Josh Levo?
So the only time I've lost on this out of the 4 times I've done it is because
it was him.
Josh Levo scored.
Oh,
so
you got
that.
Josh
There's no
Levo.
way he screws me again.
I'm doing Josh Levo. Fuck that.
5 players: Grigorenko, Fast, Filppula, Järnkrok, and Levo. None of them to score. They're all generally like bottom 6 players in that shit. It's minus 110. I love it. It's a fun bet. And then you're checking the scores, being like, did this guy, oh, fuck yeah, 5 minutes to go. There's no way he's going to touch the ice. He ain't
Don't think I'm not taking a Dominic Cahoon at minus 769. I'll tell you what right now.
Top 6 minutes, though. That almost goes against what the rule I have for the parlay.
Okay.
I want to give Cahoon some respect. That pass he made to Yamo on Saturday to spring him free. That was
beautiful.
Nice.
All right. This was a fun little bit of betting chat. I'm going to quickly give some love to our friends at manscaped.com. Check them out. Make sure you go to the top. If you're listening to this in Canada, obviously, change it to the Canadian website and you will see the performance package is right there at the top of the screen. Click on that. You will see what it comes with. There is a ton of value. It is regular $295. It is getting knocked down to $160 right now. If you use the promo code REALLIFE, it's another 20%. It's free shipping as well. You're going to get the Lawnmower 3.0, all the extra goodies you want, a pair of boxers, and the travel bag. This thing is loaded up. and you can save some serious money with the promo code REALLIFE. Check out our friends at manscaped.com. Get your spring cleaning done. Get ready for playoff time. You want your downstairs area cleaned up when the Oilers are beating the Jets.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
This player is not the score prop. Might be the single dumbest thing I've ever done.
Okay. Yeah, I'm doing one too, and I'm having a good time.
Here's how stupid this is. I have 6 players: Grigorenko, Fast, Levo, Cassian, Hagel, and Pitlick, not to score.
No.
It is currently, for a $20 wager, paying me $19. I have to have 6 things go correctly.
That's a lot of,
to win a bet that
There's
isn't
no way
even
score.
money. Well, then we might as well just add a few more players and try to get the juice worth.
Yeah, just really get.
You gotta go riskier, Chalmers. You gotta go riskier picks and bet like 3 guys.
Well, but no, that kind of goes against. Okay, do we think Brett Burns is a minus 909? What?
He's not good. But here's the thing. I don't touch Burns because he plays a lot of minutes and he plays power play.
Me neither.
I am finding bottom 6 penalty killers. Throwing them in the parlay.
I like how there's like people you can add them, like Duncan Keith at minus 3,300, which doesn't even move your parlay one lick. So it's just, there's no point in doing it. This is just, I'm going to put one of these in risky business as a can't miss parlay. And I'm going to have like 15 people on it.
Could you parlay the Oilers win with this whole thing?
Yeah, you can even do that. Mix it up. Fuck it. That's half the fun when you're just like.
Imagine if you lose because the Oilers lose and all those players don't score. Oh, that'll be a nightmare.
I work with someone who's been doing this and who put me onto them. And he went on a very impressive run doing this. It was a lot of fun. So it got me into it.
Really?
Yeah. Anyways, Oilers tonight are favorites on the money line, minus 130.
Which is interesting because Montreal's been running the show in the series.
Yeah, they've been running the show in the series, but they only have 2 wins in their last 7. And this is the first game back on home ice for the Oilers since like April 2nd. They haven't played at home in so long.
Philip Kurisev, you are in my parlay.
Welcome to the team.
I've never heard of you before today, but welcome.
All right, we're going to wrap up this podcast here with a fun little interview we had. Gabriel Candido. I really hope I'm saying his name right because I've been trying to nail that. We had a chance to catch up with him the other day, and you might be saying, who is that? Well, if you go on Twitter and you go at EDM Oilers BR, you will see he is I call him the head of the Oilers in Brazil fan page. I think that'd be 100%. The right way to do it.
That is accurate.
Me and Jay had a chance to catch up with him over the weekends. We're going to play that interview for you now. The story of how he became an Oilers fan is fascinating. His passion for the team it bleeds through your headphones into your ear holes. It is that loud and prominent. He's a really, really interesting dude. So we're going to wrap up this week's episode of the podcast with our chat with Gabriel Candido. All right, welcoming into the Real Life Podcast. This is an exciting one. You've probably seen him on Twitter because we've been interacting with him quite a bit. If you go to Twitter, it's at EDM Oilers BR. It is Gabriel Candido. He's joining us now, the biggest Oilers fan, the leader of Oilers fans in Brazil. Gabriel, how's it going, man?
All right, thank you, Tyler. Thank you for always interacting with me. You guys give me a huge boost. You have no idea how we changed the profile, and everything is all right. Everything is going. With me, everything is okay. With the others, too, everything is all right, too. I think. And
we need to get more games going a little bit here.
Right. I just knew that the Canucks Oilers game was rescheduled, and I was already expecting it because the Canucks aren't fit to play right now.
Yeah. All right. I want to get to know how someone, born and raised in Brazil gets into hockey a little bit. Like, take us through, how did you become a hockey fan?
Well, it'll take me some time. There is a TV series that's widely popular in Brazil, 10 years ago, that's called Everybody Hates Chris. That's a history about the comedian Chris Rock.
Yeah.
And I was a huge fan when I was 10, 11 years old. And in one episode, his brother Drew, his father gave to his brother Drew Oilers shirt. The series passes in the 80s, and it was a Gretzky shirt, but it didn't say Gretzky. It said Gretzky with an I, and it wasn't number 99. It was number 98. And then I watched that episode. It's cool because Chris and his brother skip school. They go to the hotel. They try to meet Gretzky. And those things, I was a kid. I thought it amazing. But that's it. I just knew that it was a sport called ice hockey, Gretzky, some guy. I saw the patch, and that's it. Some years later, a friend of mine calls me and say, I have a new game here, new game for PS2, PlayStation 2. And he said, do you want to come and play? I think you never played something like it. And then he told me that he asked for his father to buy the new NFL game. And his father messes up with the letters, and he bought the new NHL game. And then, all right, I went there, we started playing. And when I started to play, I saw a really, really fast game. The guy is skating, something like, it's like soccer that we have here, but it's totally different at the same time. And we have a lot of hits permitted, allowed. We have fights are allowed. Me as a kid, 12, 13 years old, I was amazed for that game. And when I was choosing the team, the only one that I recognized was the Oilers because of the episode of Everybody Hates Chris. And then I played a lot. Then I went home and started to search about the rules of the game, about how the game was played. And then I started searching about the Oilers, the only team that I knew. And then I saw the history of Wayne Gretzky, then how he played. I saw Yari Curry, Grant Fuhr, and then one thing led to another. 10 years later, I have a profile account just to talk about the Edmonton Oilers in Brazil.
So it really was something you just kind of stumbled into, and in a way, kind of like love at first sight. Like once you got your hands on that controller and you were playing the game, it was just, that was it. That was what made you fall in love with it.
Yeah, and then I started following, and it wasn't a great time to be an Oilers fan, to be honest. Like it was the beginning of the last decade. And then I started to search about, they have just one draft pick. At the time, it was the first one when they drafted Ryan and John Hopkins. And then Neil Yakupov came. And then I started, I will follow this team. This will be the team of the future. And took some time, to be honest. I remember the first game that I really remember. It was the game that Sam Gagner scored 8 points. And then I didn't even understand what's 8 points? He scored 8 goals? What is an assist count as a point? And then I started to research. And from now on, I'm here just to following the team from 10 years, I think. Almost 10 years.
Wow. Where exactly are you in Brazil?
I live in a kind of a small city. It's called União da Vitória. It's in the state of Paraná, the estado do Paraná. We have 100,000 inhabitants. I think it's in the south of Brazil, so it's cold in the winter. Like in the summer, it's hot as, oh my God, it's really hot. It's not as hot as Rio de Janeiro, those cities, but it's really hot. I have never seen one drop of snow in my whole life, to be honest. And here it's kind of cold, but cold like 0 degrees, -2 Celsius degrees, just it.
So is it fair to say that maybe a trip to Edmonton's in order one day? You can come in the middle of winter, really get the cold, get to watch an Oilers game. Is that something that you want to get done one day?
Absolutely. If I could go, of course, right now it's a difficult time to. Yeah. If I had like all the money in the world, I couldn't go. But of course, if I could go, I want to go like when it's really cold, really winter. I saw like a -40, -30. Like for me, that's insane. That's like another planet for me. I've never dreamed about seeing something like it. And of course, watching another game for sure.
So, well, we'll park the topic of getting you to Edmonton. The follow up I have is to find out more about the Twitter account and kind of the community you've built. How many other people in Brazil are like you and following the account and are Oilers fans?
There is one account. There is one guy that I always interact with, even when I started the account. His name is Diego. He's always interact with me. He always interact with you guys too. And man, he knows a lot about the Oilers. And he lives like way lives way. He doesn't live near me. It's like 1,000, almost 2,000 kilometers away. But in the first one that came to my mind, it's always him. He helped me in 2 games that I couldn't cover. I passed the account to him and like he updated. But 98% of the time it's just me. And there is a lot of other people who interact with me too. And not just in Brazil. There is one guy in Portugal that's always talking with me. There is some guys in Germany that spoke with you also. And a lot, and of course, a lot of Canadians and people who live in the United States. But we have a solid base here in Brazil of Oilers. It's not much. We're not many, but we try to make some nice.
So the one thing I was surprised by the time change is actually only 3 hours. So for you, what's your game day ritual? Do you stay up? Like if a game starts at 11 o'clock your time, are you staying up for that game and staying up late? Like what's a game day like for you?
Yeah, usually it's 4. That's like it was the daylight saving. Yeah. I think the timing. But yeah, I stayed late a lot of times until like 3 a.m. and to see if and I don't know if the others will win, will lose. I try to be like at home. I try to just prepare myself. Do nothing really special. There is a lot of games, but I will try to stay home. Try to find a good connection to watch the games because we don't have a lot of games on TV.
Yeah,
I have to watch it in the certain ways that's not so legal, but I try to do the same. I opened one screen. I just opened the Twitter, another one, and just the scores. Just I can see like who scored, who earned an assist. It's not as special, but I stayed up late a lot of times.
Love it. Love the commitment. Who's your favorite player on the current roster?
The answer has to be Connor McDavid. There's no way that I couldn't answer like another thing. But of course, I like a lot of Leon Draisaitl too. He's the actual MVP. Without Leon, we would not be where we are right now. Mm-hmm. But I like a lot of Jesse Puljujarvi too. He's playing good. I like Tyler Yamamoto too. He's like 2 young ones. And of course, Mike Smith is surprising everyone. Oh, yeah. I really didn't believe Mike Smith would play like that. I was like, if you asked me in the beginning of the season, who do you think will be the in goal for Oilers? I would say Mikko Koskinen without a doubt. And right now, I think Mike Smith, and I don't know, we have Alexis Stalock coming as well.
Yes, Stalock will be interesting as well. Mm-hmm. Let me wrap up with this one. How far can the Oilers go in the playoffs? Do they have what it takes to come out of the North Division?
Well, I think we'll play the Winnipeg Jets when we don't have a lot of games, and I really think we'll be Oilers against Jets. And if you ask me, it will be a good game, a good series. If I had to bet, I would bet the Oilers in 7 games.
Attaboy.
And it will be like a lot of emotion. If the Oilers beat the Jets in 4 games, all right, I will gladly be wrong. I would not complain about it. And I don't know, the Toronto Maple Leafs is kind of being a tough opponent, but I think we can play with them. We can make a series like equal series, and I really believe that the Oilers could be the winners of the North Division.
If you want,
I love it.
Love it. Yeah. If you want to follow on Twitter, it's at EDM Oilers BR. Always tweeting along with the games. He is a great follow, and it's really cool.
The
man.
energy,
the energy,
the passion. You can. It just oozes out of the Twitter account. He brings that soccer or football commentator energy to it. And we love it, and we're so happy that you're part of the community. And Gabrielle, our mission as Oilers Nation is we are going to find a way to get you to come to Edmonton the minute we're allowed to travel. So what's that?
No, I just want to say that when the pandemic is over, when I get a shot of vaccine like that, the first travel the first thing that I will do on vacation and my free time is to try to be at the mountain for sure.
Yeah. Well, we're going to find a way to help you. And if there's other people in Brazil like you that are Oilers fans, you are talking to them. So if there is any way that we can help out and support and get a group from Brazil come to Edmonton to watch hockey and enjoy some snow, we are here to help, and we look forward to hosting you.
All right. I'll be glad. I'll be waiting for this moment. Like I'm waiting, I don't know, from 10 years, but now every second that passes we are near to this moment. I think. I expect.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, 10% for me. But what is it? When I started the profile, it was just like here where I live. It's not a big city. Like I don't know anything that follows hockey in general. Imagine trying to find anyone who follow the Oilers. So I tried the account. I found some fans in Brazil. I tried to make the profile in a Brazilian way, in a different way than we have the other profiles. I tried to, like, when they score a goal, do something really near that we have about soccer, like a lot of excitement, a lot of passion. But I just try to make something in a Brazilian way.
We really appreciate your time. We look forward to following you along as the Oilers head into the playoffs. Right. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, and see you again. And let's go Oilers.
It's a great way to end it. Have a good night.
You too, guys.
Great job on making it through the entire hour of the Real Life Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast from.